All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Geopolitical Trends. Very excited to be with you on the almost last day of March here, March 30th. So still have one more day tomorrow. So anyway, very excited to be with you because this is a free conversation. It's the community where I usually answer your questions. So of course, whatever question you ask, except no geopolitics, because this is just us. You and I getting to know each other, you and I having a conversation, basic stuff. I know sometimes I put the question as to what would you guys like me to cover or talk about this during this conversation here. So, and I am open to your suggestions. I know some have said, wait, that's a silly topic and all that stuff. I understand, but at the same time, you're gonna have to think outside the box. It's just the way I look at it. So anyway, let me say hi to who's here first. Then I'll open it for your questions. Then we'll talk about whatever we're going to be talking about. So, Willie Holman, as always, good to see you from West Memphis, Arkansas. Army with Harmony, good to see you. And thank you for your comment on Rumble. And speaking of Rumble, I will be doing a topic there on immigration here in the US because I'm in ground zero here. So I'll share some stuff with you. Muslim Revert, good to see you. Francis Tango, as always. Timeline Dunkley, good to see you from New York City. Hi, Phil. Good to see you, my neighbor to the north. Poseidon, good to see you, as always, from Bucharest. Wow. Poseidon, I enjoyed my time when I say enjoyed, it was a nice visit. It was work related. It's not like I was in tourist. When I went to Romania, I stayed in Bucharest for about a week. That was a few years ago when I used to still travel for Washington. It was very nice. And a lot of people thought I was a Romanian because I have dark hair and so forth. So I enjoyed it there. So, Wong Casey, good to see you from Malaysia as always. Q7E, Aladdin Adim, good to see you. And speaking of Wong Casey, I just remembered something that I sort of wanted to just give a shout out quickly here to the channel members. The recent one, there are over 115 of you guys, and I am so grateful for your continued support. But the last few times I haven't did a shout out on the YouTube channel members. So if you allow me to just give this quickly here, I want to give a shout out to Suvoti Pan and also Mahamita Sitena, Wendy Tang, Ron and Jolie Halliday. I knew they're from down south in New Zealand, I believe. And this is S.C. Wang, Harry Ko, Sue Bernard, and Mr. Mann, and Manik Sain, Emerson Bangura, Bakinto as a supporter, Emerson Bangura as a member, by the way, and Sue Bernard as a member, and the rest of the others are a supporter. Sao Chin, Chong KT, Joy Cho, Taro Man Harris, as always, as a supporter. Joy Cho is a member, and Joseph Roy as a supporter, and R. Amin as a member. This is for about the last, almost the last month. So I'm very thankful to all of you. Regarding the members on Buy Me Coffee, it's only fair to do so. If you allow me quickly here. So I want to give shout out to Chian, also Lan Wong. Lan Wong, who's the one who bought me about, I believe, almost 25 cups of coffee one time. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Then Haha Left Hook, John Julia Jones, American Citizen X, which is that's Army with Harmony with us over there. Davis Harris, Thought Z, someone Harold Yu, Schindler's Lens. Who's the next person here? East Bloom, Peng Yu, someone, AC Lee, Boone, Elia Award, Nestor Dominguez, someone, Ahmet Nazifi, and Singh Brewy, and Jerome Lazarus. And also the last one here is ADU Utopia, and ONG Dragon, Joby, and Fufana Family 1, Salim Akil, Vanessa Martine, Ken Schaefer 18, and Domodus Cutter. So thank you all for your support. I just want to give a shout out to this, just to make kindness and sort of showing gratitude is important. I know when we do live streams, some gets upset that I take time to do this. And speaking of that, I will suggest to those individuals they can just fast forward if they don't want to hear that. There are timestamps on the video. Here is one thing I want to share with you guys that some might not know. YouTube now is changing its approach to the videos. And Elizabeth had to explain this to me. I didn't know. So what is happening now? YouTube is having a fierce competition with Netflix, which means what? YouTube now is favoring long videos, not a short one. When you do 10, 15s, it's too short. Now they are favoring long ones. That's why I do live streams more so than I do recorded video. I will be releasing a video for you next week, but usually that's why. So for those who get a little bit upset that I take too long, whatever, just fast forward to whatever you want to hear. And this way, everybody will be okay with that. Rafael Legondo, or Legonde rather, thank you so much for your support. And Rafael, guys, by the way, support us on both channels, on this one and the big channel as well. Thank you so much, Rafael, for your continued support. It means a lot. Ibon, Boone, good to see you, Boone, as always. As always, good to see you. So, all right, guys, how about if we do this? Let's start with your question first. If you have any questions, just type it in and I will answer it for you. No geopolitics, remember, no geopolitics in this. Then I'll get into the topic of UFOs. I'll share some stuff with you. And again, I do follow through that kind of stuff. I always like to read about astrophysics. It was always a hobby of mine. I used to have a book, a big book. I couldn't find it. Maybe next time, if I find it, I'll share it with you guys. All right, let's see. Francis Tango, question, Doctor. Oh, let me show it for you to you on the screen here, guys. I have a theory about the bridge accident. State that the new KGB had something to do in response to. No. Now there are some things going on internally right here in the U.S. And this is what I'm going to be talking about when I do the Rumble next week on immigration. I'm going to tackle this stuff. Yeah, there are some very, very, very bad things happening right now inside the country here. A lot of people are unaware because the media is not disclosing that. So I will be discussing on this one. Now, to my knowledge, again, that could be a possibility. Again, I'm talking from my own perspective here. So I don't see Russians not going to do it that way. And Russia's not going to, they are preparing whatever they're going to do. So the Russians are going to do that one. So. All right, let me see. Blank Stairs, good to see you. Dr. O, thank you for making these videos and streams and informing all of us world events and history. You're most welcome. And I truly enjoy being with you guys. I mean it. If I didn't want to, I won't be sitting here. And this is why this the community conversation, it's also important, because we can't be just talking about geopolitics forever. Yeah, we could. There is a lot to cover. And this is what I'm going to be doing, by the way, tonight with my guest, Carl Za, at 2100 hours. Now, with him, I can talk history, we can talk geopolitics, we can talk global affairs, we can talk global security, and so forth. That will be the right setting for it. To me, when I do this here, guys, with you, it's because I want to learn about you more. It's because I look at you, I look at you as, to me, like family, just the community, I was touched by, I'm going to share this with you without disclosing names, someone who was an avid supporter of the channel just sent a note and he said, Dr. O, sorry, I'm going to have to drop my membership. He was a member. And I sent the note and I said, listen, I truly understand whatever the issue is. I will never, ever forget what you have done for me since the beginning. What it turns out to be is that the economic conditions changed for this individual. I end up being laid off. I wish I had a little bit extra money. I'll send it, because that's what you do for members of the community. You come to help. But the fact that I sent the email, he was so touched by that. But to me, that's how I look at it. Well, I would not just sort of give you a shout out or call you only when you support the channel. No, circumstances changes, and it changed for that, and it pained me to hear that he had to be laid off. But this is to me where that community comes in, and I thanked him enough for, and I said, please don't disappear, member or not. I would love to see you here with the community like the rest of us. So blank stairs, thank you so much, and I truly appreciate your kind words. uh Hong, be careful, YouTube. Don't censor your vids, Dr. O. Well, they do sometimes. I did say it openly here to YouTube. I said, please, and I am talking nicely here, please let my viewers' comments be displayed, because some of you guys are putting comments that I am not able to read because they get removed. you know you know Now, did I remove them? No, of course I won't. Now I will remove, and I will not hide this from you, will not lie to you about it. If somebody gets out of line, when I'm talking about out of line, being disrespectful completely and spewing nonsense, now I'll give that person a chance, one chance. Get it together, or I'm going to have to remove you. I did it to two individuals on a live stream. I was just, it was good luck that I saw. Usually I can't look at the chat and at the same time talk, because I need to focus on what I'm sharing with you. But when I saw that, and the wording of it was disrespect, not just to me but to you all, and I had to remove the guy. Turns out to be some bot or whatever that was. I don't care. So, but to me, this is when I asked YouTube if they are listening. I say, please just let the comments of my viewers be displayed, but also enough of this censorship. We are just sharing the truth, no more, no less. We're not saying something egregious. We're not lying. We're not sort of just misinforming people. I do fact check my stuff before I share them with you. Why? Because my name is online here. My credibility is online. I worked so hard, so many years to be where I am today. I'm not going to just risk it because I want viewership or I don't do that kind of stuff. So YouTube, I will greatly appreciate it. So but you are absolutely correct, Hongluan. That's YouTube, and this is one of the things that why now YouTube is moving into the long versions of the videos, because Netflix, the competition from Netflix is fierce, and they are taking a big share of the market from YouTube. As a matter of fact, I just found out yesterday that the Justice Department right here now is asking Google to turn in all the names and the viewers who were watching YouTube on back in January 6th and so forth. You all know, for that investigation, whatever. To me, that's problematic. It's not right. All right, let me see. Okay, Boone, you're right. Since we sort of voted for UFO, could we speak about the chains of suspicions? Yeah, we could do. But I want to just see some questions quickly here. Hong Ruan, how is the Health Channel coming along? I stopped doing the videos because there are some changes going on with that. And there is a reason to why I stopped that Health channel. It's still, I didn't like deleted it. It's just there are a few things that we are working on. When I say we, I'm involving Dr. Stewart here, because Dr. Stewart was just doing me a favor by coming and sharing time with me. He's very busy with his, counseling, with his health stuff that he does for others, and so I've asked about it. They asked me to hold on or to hold off on it. I will not come on the air to do this, but yeah, I can understand the importance of the health topics and so forth, and I always like it because I like to share those tips with you guys as far as what kind of food to eat and all that. Here's one thing I'll share with you quickly here. To my viewers who live in America, you need to be careful as to what you are consuming. They are not disclosing. For example, I'll give you just a quick example. Bread, as simple as that. There is a big difference between bread we consume here in the US versus a bread in Europe. Why? because now even some of the products here, they are mixed with certain GMOs, the genetic modified organisms that are not allowed in Europe. So this is why now you are noticing in the US, the liver disease right here in the US is increasing, the fatty liver. Why? Usually it's tied to alcohol. Not anymore. It's tied to the food people consume. So this is why I always like to talk about the in health channel. But I will pick it up whenever I get the green light from. There are more individuals involved behind the scenes regarding that. Timeline Dunkley, you wrote YouTube would get more money if they don't censor anything. I agree with you. Timeline. I mean it. Because this is why the part of the market share was taken away to Rumble now. Rumble, it's I was even surprised, I didn't even know it. They said to me, "Well, you have now earned some money on Rumble." I wasn't even paying attention to that. Why? It's because it's taking part of the market share. Why? Because in Rumble, you talk, you say whatever in your mind. This is why I'm going to take some key topics. I'm going to do them on that one, including pharmaceutical. I'm going to talk about the pharmaceutical, including about food, including immigration, and some other topics. So you're absolutely correct. Where is Army with Harmon question? How is the Mustang running with the aftermarket air intake? So funny you said this, because that's what I'm going to be working on this afternoon. The engine light came on again. So I am questioning whether it's the oxygen sensor or is it the MAF, the modified airflow sensor that I'm going to have to check. I might even put the old one just to see what it's going to do. And it's one of those just hobby for me when I get chance to do it. But it's moving along. I'm going to replace the headlights. I'm going to do some other things. That's my chill out time when I just spend time on the Mustang. So and once I get it done and all that stuff, I'll snap pictures and share them with you. So and as a matter of fact, I have a surprise for that car, not for me, but for my son. Doesn't know, and I never disclosed that. So and speaking of Mustang, funny, just crossed my mind here. I wanted to let you guys know that yesterday, officially, I submitted the papers for my visa for Asia. There are few countries, so you have to submit the paper. So officially, for one of those countries there, I submitted officially. I get an email that now the paper is in place and they're going to proceed with that, and I'll hear from them next week. So, all right. Now, let's say, Laurie, Dr. Stephen Greer. I looked into really inviting him. He's not. I don't know. Literally, I am trying to find the direct email to him, but it will be an honor to have him here. Somebody I am very familiar with his work. I'm familiar where he lives, even in North Carolina. And Dr. Stephen Greer, it's somebody who knows what he's talking about. It will be awesome to have him here, and I'm gonna find out some direct email to him. He's a big gig per se, but we'll see. You never know. You just never know. I'm gonna try it, and we just go from there. Stephen Greer, yeah. Blank stare question. Do you think climate change is more to do with the large and small, short and long duration Earth cycles more than modern man-made conditions? Yeah. Well, I'm not a scientist, but what I can tell you is that they are really hyping up this climate stuff nonsense. That's the way I look at it. Is the Earth warming up? Yes, it is a little bit. But at the same time, if you look at 12,000 years ago with the Younger Dryas, how we went from ice, all ice and massive cold to massive heat, just temperature changes. Every 5,000, every 10,000, the cycle of the climate change. That's how, to me, yeah, there is contribution to it. Well, maybe to a degree, but at the same time, if I am to tell you there is a star near Saturn that is full of CO2 gas, complete. How this gas gets over there? There's no traffic there. There's no man there. There's no humans. There's nothing. So how did they get all of gas there? So it's just how the cycle it is. So I don't buy the arguments of this climate change stuff. I am not a scientist. I'm not I don't get involved in climate stuff. I am aware of what's going on, but again, they are exaggerating. And the reason they are exaggerating, because if you know where the message is coming from, the individuals that pushing for this are the same individuals that are jetting from one continent to the next. And if you only know how much emission a jet releases in the atmosphere, those are private. They are flying privately. So that's to me why I just don't go that way. So, Rafael, question: do you believe that a Saturday like this one, Jesus was in a cave and was waiting for midnight to wake up for real? I don't know. The religion. I don't do much religion. I just do not know much. I respect all religions. Over the years, I came to learn a lot about how religion came to be, and this goes to the beginning of human presence or existence. It was always, but for this one, I do not know, Rafael. Cute 70, good to see you. Dr. O, what do you think the food industry in the US, the FDA allows food with? Yes, it is a massive problem. A lot of people have no idea. If I can give you guys an advice, a friendly advice, stop eating outside. Those fast food, convenient food, stop that. Spend time in your kitchen. It will be worthwhile your health. Trust me. If you lose your health, you have nothing left. Money comes and goes. Wealth comes and goes. Your health is what's going to sustain you. And that starts with what you are consuming. What we put in our mouth, and that they impacting our whole being. Literally, what you consume. So my advice to you, if you could stop eating outside, that junk food stuff, that McDonald's, that Burger King, that Kentucky Fried Chicken, that Pizza Hut, that any food outside that is fast food, if you can train your brain, start to eat on a certain time. I usually, I even ask the question, and under whose order we have to eat 3 meals? Who says we have to eat 3 meals? The body doesn't need that much food. It's just made up. You eat when you are hungry. Of course, I used to eat 3 meals back then, but for the last decade, I cut that down. 2 meals. As a matter of fact, now I'm doing only 1 meal. I do 1 meal a year for 1 month. For a whole month, I only eat 1 meal a day for 30 days. Once, that's it. And I'm fine. Because as we grow older, the body doesn't need a lot of food. You don't. But again, it's what you consume. I'll tell you, yesterday I just had protein. No bread, nothing. Protein, meat, eggs, cheese, that's about it. Walnuts and dates, and that's about it. So yeah, the food, you're absolutely correct, Q7E. It's the food industry. If only people know the meat industry, the beverage industry, the agricultural industry, that is also. This is why the farmers are struggling here in the US. It's because what do we spray? I get up in the morning when I go for my walk and I see chemtrails. We don't know what they spray in there. Well, we all know what it is. It's pesticides. That's why I grow my own veggies at home. As a matter of fact, that's one of the things also. I just finished changing the dirt, and I put the compost and planted some stuff there, but I'm going to plant the seeds. Usually my wife does this stuff, but I help her out. So, why? Because I don't want to buy outside, because I don't know what they're spraying on the other stuff out. I mean, have you noticed when you get an apple here in the United States, you see an apple that is so shiny? It's not supposed to be. That's the spray they have on it, chemical stuff. No, it's not supposed to be. This is why Europeans banning GMO, banning meat. Actually, Canada to my knowledge, Canada, Japan, Australia, and the EU will not import meat from the US. Why? Because meat in the US is injected with hormones. That's why when you go McDonald's and eat in McDonald's, you're not eating meat at all. There is no meat in that stuff. It's not a healthy food. If you only know what's in that French fries, where it was cooked, that oil, it's not even an oil. And all you put in that. There is a video out there. I'm trying to get it for you guys. You can watch it. The guy does a breakdown. He's in a medical field. Does breakdown of the ingredients of what's in Burger King and one McDonald's and all this. So my advice to you: stay away from those foods. Hong Luan, Dr. O, will you be talking to Carl about Hong Kong? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. I'm going to bring that up in the conversation because with Kaza, I can talk openly. This is the reason why I wanted to do this on either 2 or 3 weeks. And I talked to him privately and he said, I'll be happy to do it, Dr. O. And I kind of like, great, because that's how you guys are going to learn. And also he does history as well. So we're going to be talking about this. And yeah, I intend to address this one because I know what the West have been saying about all that stuff. So, and we all know how Hong Kong used to be, how it was under British. British didn't do a good thing for Hong Kong anyway. So, Francis Tango, Dr. O, is it now that the U.S. economy has come to a standstill? I think a lot of damage to the economy with the British. For sure. The government is lying about the numbers, the data. And this is why I'm going to do a video for you guys about the upcoming trip of Janet Yellen to China, the Treasury Secretary. She's going to China. What for? I'm sure Chinese are smart enough to know why she's coming to Beijing for. And it become now on China whether you want to lend more money to the US. They're gonna have to decide. But I'm gonna do a video for you about that one. So, AG. Oh, you're the man, Doc. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Farhad Razavi, good to see you as always. Do all thanks with love. Good to see you. I don't see your question. Muslim revert, as always. Good to see you. Asadullah. I'm sorry. Asadullah. Dr. O, it's good to have you live again. Thank you very much. I truly enjoyed being here with you guys. So, low IQ, let's take a question. And I'm sure your IQ is higher. So, Dr. O, will you discuss the immense influence and power Jews wield globally, maybe on some platform? Yes, that will be for Rumble. I mean, I'll give you a quick example. For those who live in England, who is the major famous family in England? That's a Jewish background. So, yes, they are. Genetically, let me say this way because this might shock you. Let me just tell you this. Genetically, the Jews, in general term, they are good with numbers, with money. Something inherently in them. That's why you see, for example, the diamond markets. Who are the major influencer and involved in diamonds? The Jewish people. You go to New York, Timeline Dunkley, tell me you are in New York. People who deal with diamonds in New York mostly are Jews. In the financial sector, majority are Jews. So there's something inherently, but yeah, I'd be happy to do this because also it was the Jews back then that have influenced World War II events by providing Germany the N-word there, you know what it is, with funding, because they were funding. Yeah, I'll be happy to talk about this one on not on this platform, of course, but I'll do it. Boone, let's take your question here about fact checking. How would you deal with who watches the watchers? That's a valid argument. Valid arguments, and it's hard to because it's not an easy answer for something like that one. Or if we are to say, well, this person is doing this and that becomes just a personal self-conscious. That's why for me, personally, I speak for myself. I can't speak for others. If I have doubt about some source or something, I either if I share it with you, I'll tell you it's not confirmed. If I confirm it myself, I'll share it with you. Now it becomes, to go back to your question, well, who's going to check me that I am saying the truth? You're absolutely correct, and I see the logic in your argument. For me, it becomes just a self-conscious thing. Will I say things to lie to you about? Consciously, I can't. I will live with myself doing that. This is why I am what you see. I've been since day one, and I will continue this way till as long as I'm doing this. Why? Because that's what I put on the table the first day, and I want you to expect from me. I'm not going to say thanks. This is why I don't follow the trend as far as videos that, or they have a lot of views, whatever. No, because some of the videos I see out there, which I don't listen to, I listen to the first 3 minutes. First 3 minutes gives me an idea. Is it worth listening to or not? Hypes or not? I'm not judging them. They can do whatever is their channel. They're entitled to. For me, I choose not to do that. So, and I kind of, but I see your point. But if we are to talk about this on a larger scale, yes, who's checking the checkers? So I see your point, Boone, and it makes perfect sense. Jan Hokor, good to see you as always. Farhad Razavi, why? Why were you banned? 48 hours just for commenting. Oh, there was some word or something the algorithm picks up. That ain't right. That's not right. That's not right. That's not right. Well, anyway, good to see you here. All right, let me keep. The Arctic polysporin. Euro GMO is not as bad. These are genes found in nature, like Arctic flounder. Genes for antifreeze put in wheat to survive cold, but new artificial genes not found in nature. These are there. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I agree with you. And the one we're talking about, not the ones found in nature, Mother Nature, the ones that are introduced, genetically modified in a lab. That's the one that is causing harm to them. This is why, guys, again, to my viewers who live in the US here, you noticed a lot of people getting sick. I mean, you have now people in their early 30s having cancer, early 30s having some chronic issues that usually we never associate that with person at that age. It makes you just wonder. It's all about the food we consume, let alone the timing and my advice, once again, be aware of what you consume. If you can do two things, it's very hard, but you're gonna have to discipline yourself. Cut down on sugar, cut down on carbohydrates, meaning bread, pasta, potato chips, all that kind of stuff. If you can cut down on those two, you will notice the difference. I don't know how many of you wondered why sometimes you might get a joint pain or something like this. That is linked to sugar. Cut that down for 30 days and see how you feel. I used to have that a few years ago. Sometimes I get up in the morning and I'm like a little achy and all that stuff. Usually I'm a good fit. I train. I keep myself in a good health. But also I used to eat a lot of French pastry. My family lives in France. You know how French pastry is. I used to eat a lot of French bread when I go to Paris. I kept doing it here in the US, even though I buy the good quality bread. But when I start to realize, no, you can't trust what they're saying on a label, because the deal that was cut between the food industry and the government, they don't disclose in a label. So I start cut down on sugar. For the last 15 years, I had my coffee with creamer without sugar. Of course, I was doing a mistake by adding certain type of creamer from the market, till I start to buy the right creamer, not the flavored one with vanilla and all that stuff. It's nothing but corn syrup in it. Corn syrup will destroy your health. This is what I'm saying. I start cutting down on those, feel fine. I hardly ever have any joint pain, but I train every day. I will not move a day without doing my stretches, without doing my things that I always do to maintain a good health. And of course, eating well is part of it. Elvis Mickey, I'm sorry, I can't read this one. I don't know what it says. Does anybody know, guys? Do you speak that language? If you know, that will be great. Uh, all right. Let me see one more thing before I'm still gonna jump to your question. Uh, actually, Rampernance 01. Dr. O, have you seen the BBC interview with Guyana president? He gave a hard time to the journalist because he was blaming him about CO2. I did see it, and I saw how he pointed his fingers. The Ghanaian president pointed his fingers to the BBC. I said, "I'm going to lecture you," because that was the right answer. Because the BBC guy was trying to lecture that president. Well, what the BBC guy never disclosed is that the forest in Guyana, that is the one that is absorbing much of the CO2. So it's the same arguments that's been made in the Amazon. Why they are going and taking out the trees and to use it for wood. And who's doing that? The West. How about leaving the Amazon as is? Because those trees are important to absorb the carbon dioxide. Yes, I did. I did see it. I did see that one. The Muslim revert. Yeah, junk food is tasty. That's the problem, because they know what they put in them. That's human psychology. Believe it or not, some psychology goes into that. This is why you see the commercial of Coca-Cola being poured by a young woman, a blonde, and you see the what you call it, I draw a blank on the, when you pour Coca-Cola, there's this suds, whatever the top of it, it sounds good, the sound, the music, and all that stuff. It tastes good. But if you only know what's in Coca-Cola, you won't touch it. That's why sodas is another. Stay away from sodas. Drink water, and not tap water either, because tap water has a lot of fluoride in it. So yeah, that's the problem. It tastes good, but it's a problem. All right, Francis Tango. How did the universe start? Do you know? Let's start. I did read up a little bit on it, and I'm going to get into it briefly here, what we're going to be talking about. How did the universe start? Well, if you look at I'm going to just use my hand here, but that's the only example. If you do a chart, this is time, this is year, and you go from modern day, 2024, and you go down in time till you go to zero. You go this distance, you go into the years. Okay? And you realize if you do it backward, not from the beginning, and you go down, you go down, you go down, you go down till you come to zero, where there was nothing there. This is where the Big Bang, the whole history of how the universe came about. Or the universe, how did it become? Because when you look at a star, a regular star, well, a star goes through birth, life, and death, like we do. We go through birth, life, and we die at the end. Star goes the same. The presence of universe was also created from another universe. Because here is the thing. A lot of people think that there's only one universe, and it's not the case. There's about sixth of trillion, 60 trillion something. It's a number we can't even imagine. That's a trillions of a billions of whatever. It's beyond our comprehension. And you think about the universe. Think of it like what's his name? Brian Greene. His name is Brian Greene. He's a physicist, and he deals with astrophysics. And best description, and that's his word, because I give the credit to him. When somebody asked him the same question, are we the only universe sort of person? He said, no. You think about it like a loaf of bread. When you get a loaf of bread, what do you see? So many slices, right? That's how many universes are out there. It's just for us, we never went beyond the boundaries of ours. I mean, we couldn't even get to, for example, I'm going to give you a quick example here. We couldn't, let me get it for you here, because I want you to see that one. All right, bear with me here, because I have one screen open. Not this one. but I'm going to share a screen with you because it has some images that I need you to see. Yeah, I got it right here for you guys. Share screen. Okay, let me expand this one here. So what are you looking at? You are looking at Alpha Centauri, which is usually, they're triple stars, but usually we're only known about two main ones, Alpha Centauri B and Alpha Centauri A. But there is Alpha Centauri C. It's almost a red dwarf. Why am I saying this? To go back to the point of, we didn't even go outside the edge of the universe per se. This still about 4 light years away. It will take us about 75,000 years to get there. And that's begs the question of, well, when you think of something like this one, that begs the question, well, are we the only one? I'm not saying, I know some do find this very problematic. Others are open to listening or at least reading about. I'm one of those. I'm one of those that, given certain experiences that I went through, I'm not going to disclose this because literally, guys, you will think I lost my mind. That's why I made the decision a few years ago. We never disclose this, no matter what. So, and the idea of, for us to be thinking, well, how vast is the universe? I mean, you think about this one here. I'm going to show you a picture. You guys know what this is? You should. 2017. Does it ring a bell for you? Let me see if you guys can get this one here. 2017. Meteorite. No. This one is Oumuamua. Oumuamua was the first interstellar object that entered our solar system. Listen carefully what I'm saying. I didn't see entered our atmosphere, our solar system. And if you look at our solar system, how vast that is, you get the idea. Turns out to be, it's more than just what meet the eyes. Oumuamua wasn't just some rock just moving around, because if you listen to what physicists were explaining this, and they are far qualified than me, of course, they're in my area to begin with, they're talking about how it rotates on its own axis. Something usually doesn't happen unless it is controlled certain ways. And this is what I'm saying, is the idea of, we are to be thinking in terms of, are we alone? Come on. To me, just yeah, it's beyond, because not only of what I read, but also the individuals that I talked to. I was in the military. We had access to certain things. That brings the memories, of course, of Area 51 and so forth. But you think about all this, is the idea of even what they call them, the UFOs, the unidentified flying object, or they refer to them now as the UAPs. They don't call them UFOs anymore. So it's the unexplained anomalous phenomena. So, well, of course, the government will not come forward and disclose that. Why? It's because that will create a social panic in society, because we are not equipped to handle something that is completely different from what we are accustomed to. I'll ask you a simple question. Just tell me and be honest about it. Let's say you are in your house, and you walk to your kitchen and you turn the light off, and you all of a sudden you see some car watches, big, whatever. How do you feel? The hair on your neck will stand up. Why? Because it's a creature that is. That's exactly the feeling I'm talking about. If we are to be dealing with some entities that look different than us, act different than us, behave different than us. It used to be a case. I wish I would have get it for you. A case that was declassified from the Soviet Union era back in the 60s, in which divers won over to the Lake Baikal. I'm going to see if I can pull it up for you guys here. Russian Lake Baikal. Let me see if I could pull it out. I doubt there's the video for it, but encounter. So, but anyway, let's because actually I did see. Yeah, I'm gonna just share a picture with you. Okay, and again, rejected, accepted, your decision, not mine. Except that I had a chance to read the declassified version of it. So, okay. Let me make this bigger. All right. What are you looking at? You're looking, I'm sorry. What are you looking at? This is what happened to when divers, okay? I think either 5 or 6, don't remember, 5 or 6 divers from a Russian Navy went down in Lake Baikal, okay? They went down. Lake Baikal is one of the deepest freshwater lake in the world. So they went down. All of a sudden, they are noticing some entities just staring at them. Of course, to go that depth, you have to have the oxygen tanks and all that stuff. Those are professional divers. So all of a sudden, this entity is just staring at them. Okay, they're not wearing tankers. That's the same image you were looking at. That's exactly what they were having. Whatever was over their heads, that's how they were breathing. The interesting aspect is that those divers, the Russian divers, communicated among themselves, because you learn how to communicate sign language. They communicate that we need to catch one of those. So they wanted to throw the net. The entities staring at them already knew what they were thinking. They rushed 3 of them or 4 of them up quickly. As a matter of fact, they rushed them up so quick. Of course, what happened when you go from that depth all the way up? You could die. And as a matter of fact, 3 of them died. The others who survived were authorized not to disclose anything as to what they encountered. And again, you want to believe it, you believe it. You want to reject it, it's fine with me. I'm just sharing this with you. And my point to all this is to highlight to you that the idea of we are alone, that's to me is arrogance of us to think we are the only smart entity. I call it entity because we can't call them humans because they're not humans. They are, you call them whatever. So, and this is why, for example, even for us in recent modern day, astronauts who went up, they had to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Yeah, even their security clearances would not allow them to talk about aspects like that. Well, for you to be aware of this, I'm going to share a testimony that took place inside Congress. I listened to it, especially from Commander Fravor. David, his name is David Fravor. Let me get to the link of it. And NASA. All right, let me see here. Okay, I don't know where the link is. All of a sudden, everything is slowing down. Funny, isn't it? When you want something to work, it doesn't. Okay. Link for this. No, it's not here. It's not opening. On the one more. Okay. It's right here. I got it. And again, you guys, and again, I'm just sharing this with you. You decide. And I'm not gonna play it in its entirety because it's about 20 minutes. Share link. I'm gonna just share a few snippets, especially from Commander David Fravor. If they play it, so
minutes have expired. I'll now recognize Mr. Graves for 5 minutes for opening
if
statement.
you can give me a thumbs up, so I know that you can hear.
Chairman Grothman,
let it-
Ranking
let
Member
it
Garcia,
play the
distinguished
entirety.
members of the House Oversight
You
Subcommittee on National
please
Security,
just give me a thumbs up because I can't hear
Luna.
because I'm using a
My name is Ryan Fobbs Graves, and I'm a
microphone
former
here
F-18 pilot with a
that is
decade
not
of
going
service in the
through.
U.S. Navy, including 2 deployments and
If you
operations
can,
enduring
all
freedom
good.
and
Okay,
Operation
thank you,
Inherent
Hong
Resolve.
Wan. Thank you.
I have experienced
So,
advanced UAP
this is one of
firsthand,
the
and I'm here to
pilots.
voice the concerns of more
And
than
again,
30
we're not
commercial
gonna
aircrew and
spend a
military
lot of
veterans
time.
who have confided their similar
But just
encounters
to give
with
you an
me.
idea, all those three
Today,
now are
I would
not
like
in
to
the
highlight
service
3
anymore.
critical issues
That's
that
why they
demand
can
our
talk.
action.
That
As we
is why.
convene here,
Thank you,
UAP
T.
are in our
Appreciate
airspace,
it.
but
That's
they
why
are
they can
grossly
talk.
underreported.
And again,
These sightings are
it's
not
just
rare
to
or
listen to a
isolated, they
different
are
perspective.
routine. Military
Now,
aircrew and
with
commercial pilots,
someone like
trained
this,
observers whose
because the
lives depend on
position where
accurate
there was an
identification, are frequently
F-18
witnessing
pilots,
these phenomena.
those usually they have to go through a
The
rigorous
stigma
security
attached to UAP is
clearances
real and
and
powerful
every
and
aspect
challenges
of it because
national
it's
security.
possession of trust and so forth.
It silences
So
commercial
you ask
pilots who
yourself,
fear
would
professional
somebody like him will
repercussions,
lie?
discourages witnesses.
Why will he
It is
lie
only
for?
compounded by recent government claims
I
questioning the
just don't see the
credibility of
reason for
eyewitness
it.
testimony.
And that is
Parts of
why
our
I
government are
wanted
aware
to
of more
share
about
this with
UAP
you.
than they let on.
Let me share the
Excessive
one from
classification practices keep
Commander. I'm
official
going to fast
information
forward,
hidden.
guys,
Since
to Commander Fravor.
That and call me a boomer and say, hey, boomer. And I said, no, baby, it's Tic Tac like the candy. You're going to have to just look it up. And
This is Commander Fravor. David, let me back up a little bit here. Okay.
Thank you.
There it is.
Thank you, Mr.
That's
Chairman,
Commander Fravor.
Congressmen, Congresswomen. I want to first thank you for the invitation to speak to the committee on the UAP topic that's been in the news for the past 6 years and seems to be continuing to gain momentum. As you know, my name is David Fravor. I'm a retired commander in the United States Navy. In 2004, I was a commanding officer of Strike Fighter Squadron 41, the world-famous Black Aces. We were attached to Carrier Wing 11, stationed on board the USS Nimitz, and had begun a 2-month workup cycle off the coast of California. On this day, we were scheduled for a 2v2 air-to-air training with the USS Princeton as our control. When we launched off Nimitz, my wingman was joining up. We were told that the training was going to be suspended and we were going to proceed with real-world tasking. As we proceeded to the west, the air controller was counting down the range to an object that we were going to, and we were unaware of what we were going to see when we arrived. The controller told us that these objects had been observed for over 2 weeks, coming down from over 80,000 feet, rapidly descending to 20,000 feet, hanging out for hours, and then going straight back up. For those who don't realize, above 80,000 feet is space. We arrived at the location at approximately 20,000 feet in a controller called merge plot, which means that our radar blip was now on the same resolution cell as the contact. As we looked around, we noticed that we saw some whitewater off our right side. It's important to note that the weather on this day was as close to perfect as you could ask for off the coast of San Diego. Clear skies, light winds, calm seas, no white caps from waves.
Anyway.
So the whitewater stood out in a large blue ocean.
All right, I'm going to stop this one. And I put the link for you guys in the chat box if you want to listen to it 100%. If you want to listen to it, so it's your decision. So, and again, I'm very familiar with this because I listened to the entire testimony in Congress. and where he talked about some specific aspect that defies the logics of physics. You know, and I'm not a physician. I don't do physics and all that. It's just the basics. Certain gravity. When you have sort of what do you call it? Uh, UFOs, UAP, whatever you want to call it, come down from 82,000 feet to about 50 or 60 in a matter of before you blink your eye. That defies logic. So, and this is what I'm saying. Be open mind, do your own research, do your own study or reading about it, and reach your own conclusion. Don't let anyone say, just because I'm sharing it with you doesn't mean, yeah, because you can decide what you want to do. Okay. Which one, Francis Tango? What image are you talking to? You're referring to, I'm sorry. Your image, is it the one on the screen? Yeah, sometimes it's just how it will work sometimes, and other times it doesn't work. So, yeah, because I can hear my computer is also recycling something. Is material found. Army with Harmony, you wrote, Dr. O, was that the image of the object in space from 2007 related to the material found in the bottom of the ocean, Papua New Guinea? It's right around the same time. No, not to my knowledge. No. This was separate because you get this image here. That's the one I shared with you, and the other one is this one right here. It's the same one, by the way, just from different angles. And this was taken by Kepler telescope, and Kepler goes way deep down into that's why they call it deep field, deep into the space for that stone. But this was through an interstellar travel. So I read the report on it. Of course, NASA had to do an open session about or press conference about it. It was nothing related to what's on Earth, to my knowledge. Again. So, all right, let me. Oh, great! Thank you, Francis. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes computer, I do have a good Wi-Fi here, but I don't know why sometimes. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't work. So, and once again, guys, just the idea of now with the advances in astronomy and science, that it's became a little bit easier for us to at least to go very, very deep down into the unknown, the universe, and just to see what the scientists are doing all this. Uh, the telescope that I have will not go that far anyway. That's just to see the moon, basically, a full moon. That's what it is. But when you look at something like the Kepler Space Telescope, it led now astronomers to believe now that they're nearly every star, and there are millions and millions and millions in our sun. There are every star that is like our sun. It's what they call the exoplanets, and they are, some of them are habitable. Well, habitable, not in a way you and I know. Might be habitable in a different conditions. They can support life. Now, the one that I just came across, I came across my feed, I believe, on. I thought I saved the link to it. That one star that is closer to to the sun can support life. Alpha Centauri, yeah. It says it can support life. So, but how? That's why we're trying. Now, here is one thing I want to tell you, because there is a counter argument to all this, and the counter argument is that there are those who are saying, well, okay, if they are this and all, why are we going to other far distant places when we couldn't even fix our Earth. And I can see the logic to that argument. Fix Earth first before you end up going to places like Mars, far, far out there. So there's some images that I wanted to share with you. So and logical arguments. So uh, why are we going too far out when there's issues right here on Earth? You know? As a matter of fact, I just find out that now there are some agencies will be willing to do space travel, this civilian travel, whatever. If you want to have a dinner near the moon for about $500,000, they'll take you up there. So not you're gonna land on the moon, but you just eat while you're sitting on in whatever vehicle you're gonna travel through. And those are just some images that I came across, wanted to share with you. And the universe is vast. This is by the way, this one here, the nebula here, this is like when you talk about the birth of a star. This when a star explodes, the birth of a star. Because will be like gases and so forth that will be emanating from it. Fascinating, fascinating. To me, when I look at stuff like this, guys, I think how small I am. I speak for myself in the big scheme of things. Very, very minute, you know. And that's why we kind of, for us on Earth here, we couldn't even live in peace. You know, we're fighting and stuff. So, you all know what this is, right? Saturn portrait. And this ring is nothing but rocks that is floating there. Makes you really wonder how something like that could exist. It's fascinating. Yeah, this is when the birth of stars. See this link here? This is where the star explode and a new one will be born, per se. So, all right, I'm gonna stop here, and we'll just continue our conversation briefly here. So, and that's what I'm saying, guys. It's just ideas, something to think about. I like to think outside outside the box. That is. Uh, oh, TNT, good to see you, TNT. TNT also has been an avid supporter. I've been visited by a person from the afterworld, so it would not surprise me. I truly understand what you're saying, TNT. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. So, and this is where, as I said, again, it's just conversation, no more, no less. And again, you believe what you believe, and you are entitled to your opinion, and your opinion should be respected. Your point of view and so forth. It's just the idea that, to me, as a human being, thinking, well, I am the only one in this universe. No, 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 no. I don't see that. So, all right, timeline Dunkley question: do you think if they made a giant hose that can fly to Jupiter to absorb all the gas and bring it back to Earth, that would solve the gas problem? Nobody will have to dig in the Earth for gases. Well, the giant hole. I see your imagination thinking outside the box, but is it feasible? I don't see that happening. So, uh, and this is why, by the way, this is why you guys need to think about it in the idea of why China went ahead with establishing its own space station and exploring the surface of the moon, is because it's what's on it, the importance of the material that is on the surface of the moon. And I believe China is gonna have a step ahead, will be step ahead of the US, because China is gonna coordinate with Russia and, regarding the space exploration. So I do see them doing that. So that will be very, very interesting to see. Uh, Let me see here. Okay, let me see if there's any other question from you. A question from Francis Tango. Are the ancient temple in the world made by extraterrestrial life, such as Egypt and South America and Asia? Well, let me just ask you a question. Are you guys familiar with the Göbekli Tepe in southeast part of Turkey? Does anybody know? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's called Göbekli Tepe. Let me see first before I speak, before I say something. See if you are at least familiar with the word that I mentioned. It's called Göbekli Tepe in southeast Turkey. AG, the silver bullet, you said yes. Okay. Okay, Francis, no. Göbekli Tepe it's an ancient site. So, but if you look at certain aspects, or let me just give you a simple example: the Stonehenges in England. You're familiar with those, right? You see the size of those stones. Okay, what do you think the weight of those stages? Oh, TNT, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I came late. Thanks for the shout out, Dr. Day. Of course. I can How can I forget you when we started, you were one of the first that put a super sticker. I still remember. The same thing applies to others. Boone was one of them as well. OMC was one of them. Juniper Lee, Juge, there are so many of you guys. I can't forget this one. And that's why, to me, it's the idea of you always give gratitude. So you're most welcome. So the idea, yeah. So this big, how much the weight? Not even our modern crane will be able to lift something like this. So when you think about Göbekli Tepe, or you go back to Lebanon, in Lebanon there is one piece of rock that is about 16,000 tons. What crane is going to move something like this? So to go back to the original question, is the idea of when you look at the pyramids, just go with the pyramids, simple as pyramids. You know how high is the pyramids, right? And you tell me how that ability, how worthy, if we say we were us, early humans build that, how will they be able to go all the way to the top? I just took a walk. I took a walk last night at about 9:30 p.m. It was a clear sky. And you know what I saw? The three dippers, the three stars lined in exactly the same way with Giza. The three pyramids in Egypt, it was the exact lined up for it. So you think about just logically, and again, we'll keep our minds open to interpretations, but it's just the logic of it. What will it take humans, us, you and I, for example, if we are to build something like pyramid, given its height and the structure of those pieces of rocks? Even when you go to Göbekli Tepe, for example, or you go to certain ancient temples or whatever, you see how the rocks, you can even fit in anything in between. That's how precise. You look at the lining, the geometry. To me, that's exemplified some advancements in mathematical equations and so forth. We humans, yeah, we know some, but our knowledge is limited. I mean, if we think we are only using our 10% of the capacity of the brain, the smartest one among us will be using at about 16, 17, or even 18, let's say 20%, which might not be the case. So yeah, this is what I'm saying. You just, and I don't argue here that, oh, you ought to believe in what I'm sharing with you. No, 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 no. I'm just sharing knowledge with you. You decide. But again, let your common sense, use your common sense in deciding, okay, can we human build some structure like this that requires massive crane and nothing heavy that we have in modern day, or any equipment will be able to do that? So this is one of those just to think about, of course, for that one. Boone, thank you for shout out too. Suggestions. with Kaza to talk about the way Chinese government deal with getting the right person of the job. That will be very interesting, and I would like to explore that with him. So that's why, guys, I hope you can join me because I'm gonna open the floor for questions. I already told Carl that this time, even though we have a conversation, I like to allocate a lot of time for your questions. So I'll be happy to do that. And thank you again, Boone, for your continued support. Truly, truly appreciate you. And I want you to know I don't take it for granted. I want you to know. And I'm a believer that what goes around comes around. Good karma. You do good in life, it will come to you or your offspring one way or another. Might not be tomorrow, maybe a year from now, maybe 20 years from today. That's what I believe. That's just me. And I've always tried to be uh, uh, kind to others in the sense of, you don't jump to. Yes, I react sometimes when I read some negative comment or something that is disrespectful. On the other hand, I take a step back and I said, no, 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 no. Just forgive. Just forgive. Just forgive. I tell you, there is something now that I'm dealing with, and I'm still holding my judgment on the person. Why? Because I said karma. Think about it. If that person's intentions were bad, karma will get back to him. If that person's intentions are still good, karma will reward him. Just I believe in it. So that's just how I see it. So this is what I'm saying, guys, just for you to think outside the box. A conversation, because literally, you think about it, guys. For us on Earth here, we the universe is beyond what we can comprehend. Our brains, again, it's not capable of absorbing that kind of information or understanding the numbers. It takes us 75,000 years to get to Alpha Centauri. Who's going to comprehend that? How are we going to get there? 75,000. That's just a, but that's something like this shouldn't prevent us from asking the questions. Can it be other type of life out there? Can it be something different? Might not be the same form that you and I are familiar with and knowledgeable. That's to me a simple question, and I don't shy away from asking those questions. Some might find it ridiculous or whatever, but again, they are entitled to their opinion, and I'm okay with it. I'm really okay with it. So uh, it's unfortunate, but uh, all right. Let me see if there is one more question or two. I'll take those and I'll sign off here. Uh, and once again, guys, just remember if you could join me tonight at 2100 hours, if your schedule permits. Otherwise, it will be recorded there, and you can see it. No, I'm sorry, not this one. Fight back. You wrote. Fight back. You wrote, Dr. David. You need to go through the teachings of Buddha. I used to go to some temples here in the U.S. To Buddhist temple. I've been in some. I sat there quietly. I'm very familiar. The most thing that I am very familiar with is Shaolin teachings. That's the one. So whatever part of the Asia I'm gonna be in, if I have a chance to go to one of the visits, if they allow outsiders, because I like to be respectful of their setting, I'll be happy to do it. So, but Shaolin is something I think about, and I practice some of it right here in my place. So, uh, yeah, once again, guys, just FYI to recap everything we talked about. This mainly one, the health issues. Pay close attention to what you are consuming. And if you eat a lot outside, start to train your brain to cut down on that and start cooking at home. You find it struggling at the beginning, but be patient with yourself and start to learn how to cook at home because it's a food you're preparing yourself. You know what you're putting in it. That food that is prepared in a restaurant, you have no clue. I used to eat outside, sort of good restaurants. You ask me, will I go to McDonald's? No. Did I go to McDonald's? Yes, I did some about 25 years ago, and I stopped. Once you educate yourself, find out. Your health is your best asset, as I always say. Uh, oh, TNT. Thank you so much, man. Once again, I truly, truly appreciate you. And you said this is for your travels. Thank you so much. I will make sure to move, once I get this one, move it to that, because I put this money aside just for that. Just for that. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And this is one of the reasons why I said about thinking about karma. I believe in it. So somehow it's all about intentions. If your intentions are good, you'll be good. If your intentions are bad, it will get you in life. Oh, Francis Tango, don't fight, man. I can only run away quickly. Don't fight. Yeah, no need to fight. Sometimes you can calm down somebody. I know for us in our culture is very, very problematic, because you just never know whom you're dealing with. You don't know what they're gonna pull on you, and you have to be ready for. That's one thing about, at least for me as a former military, you kind of learn what to look for, the body language, the hand movements, and you're gonna have to do what you have to do to eliminate the threat by any means. So, but for us in our culture, because the presence of guns and so forth, yeah, it can be very, very problematic. So that is the way I see it. So, uh, Army with Harmony, would you be willing to do basics of Shaolin? I don't know how I'm gonna do that. You mean just the teachings of it, or you're talking about the Shaolins, the movements, the flow of energy, and so forth? Uh, yeah, it is a basic. We can do that in one of the sessions here, of course, because I can't do it in regular YouTube. So, yeah, yeah. So, all right, guys. I hope you find. I'll be happy to answer. Is your time here? Because if you want me to stay here with you, I'll stay with you here. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to. So I'll be happy to answer whatever question you have, because that's what it's for. Oh, Maria, this is a question. Even in the religious books reflects the concept of equal bodies. Do you agree? Yeah, some of them did mention that one for that. It's just with the like, for example, in the Islamic faith, they talk about jinn, Jin, which would translate into spirits. So it's been mentioned, and they are now, some are calling those jinns, some are calling them demons. It depends again on each interpretation. But you're absolutely correct. Some religious books have mentioned that indirectly. You think about the idea of the angels. Well, and again, how would you? There are those who saying, as far as the angels, certain ways. Some with two wings, some with four wings. It depends. So each book will have its own interpretation or description of all that. But you're absolutely correct. I see your point in that. All right, let me see again. See if there's another question. And if not, I'm going to go off and go do some work on the garden, because I need to fix this one this weekend. And I have to put some cover on the roof, because on the patio, because when it rains, it's messy over there. So I'm gonna go measure some stuff and put some go buy some roof stuff. Uh, okay, question from Jan Hakor. Question: what order of importance would you place each of these three for health? Enough sleep, exercise, food, and nutrition. Well, they are complementary. You can favor one over the other, because if you eat well and don't sleep enough, ain't gonna do you good. If you sleep good but you don't eat well, ain't gonna do you good. They are to me, they are even. But if I am to start personally, for me, I'll start with food. Nutrition will be the key, because what you eat reflects on you, how you, like when you see some people, I'll give you a quick example. When you see some people with some energy and all that stuff, where do you think that's coming? Sugar, caffeine? Nah, caffeine will play a minor role into all this, but also has to do with the type of food. And just notice it yourself. Go and do this experiment if you want to, and just eat 2 meals a day. That's all. 2 meals a day. Try this. In the morning, at about 11 or noon, you can turn it into lunch, not a breakfast. Do a steak, a grass-fed. Do eggs, piece of cheese, and a little bit of kimchi, and one small piece of bread with real butter. That's it. Once again, steak doesn't have to be big. Eggs, do scrambled eggs with onions and mushrooms and something else. Cheese, a good cheese, and kimchi. And small piece of bread, you put olive oil on it or butter, and put your scrambled eggs and eat all that. And see how you feel for the rest of the day till you eat your dinner at 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, just eat your normal food, whatever you usually eat, pasta, whatever, and see how you feel. See how you sleep. And the next day, you will be able to notice. So just try that one and see. So for me, I'll put food first, sleep second, exercise third, but they are equally important. Matt, Becky, I am glad you are here. I looked at your last comment you put on the community, but it didn't show up on the YouTube, in which you mentioned about Dr. Morandi. Am I assuming you're talking about the Dr. Saeed Morandi, the Iranian professor? He's, by the way, an American. I don't know if you guys know that or not. He was born in Virginia, in the United States. So he's an American Iranian. So and yes, I will check that out. But if it is about Dr. Morandi, I was trying to reach out to him through a third party, but I didn't succeed into that. Yeah, of course, we'd love to have him on a show, and especially for somebody like him, he does know what he's talking about. So, Dr. Morandi, if you guys check him out, you'll see. And I'm gonna look into. Yes, there is an email. Just I can't put my email here because that will be all over the world. If anybody communicates with Matt, Boone, I don't know if you communicate with Matt. Boone has my contact info, because Boone and I will communicate off in a private setting through LinkedIn. You can get to me through LinkedIn. Just go to LinkedIn or Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. And I'll follow you back, so you will be able to send me a message, and I'll do it that way. Could you stand up and do a few basic movements of Shaolin? Why not? Let's see here. I don't know if you guys can see. Well, first of all, you're going to have to do the horse stand, in which let me take my slippers off, because you have to stand solid. You won't be able to see my leg here, but you stand a horse stand, okay, back straight, and you hold this. Usually Shaolin teaching will have you hold weight like a bucket of water, and that tests your stamina. It's not about massive weight, it's about stamina. You hold here for a while. Then after you're done with this, you put that weight. Then you get back and you start to move certain ways. Why you move certain ways? Because anytime you move one direction or another, you are moving the energy around you. This is why, if you notice, martial art people or even Shaolin people, if they push against you, they'll throw you out. Why? All is coming energy, and energy coming from here. It's not about the muscles. If you notice, Shaolin people are not big; they're just normal. It's the energy, and once they come up here and push, you transfer the energy from the core into your hand, and you push very, very, very hard. This is just some basic stuff. I have to be warmed up to do certain things, and I can because you have to warm up your muscles first before you do anything. So those are the basic stuff that I do every morning. That helps me. Uh, that helps me move in a day and have enough energy. Uh, they just it just because life is too short. You guys, life is too short. We're just passing through here. So that's why I say, do good in life and everything will be okay. Let me see this one from Do All Things with Love. Dr. O, people who talk for a living tends to get chronic hyperventilation, which can lead to ill health. Do you have a trick to overcome this? Now, I am not believe it or not, I'm not even familiar with this. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm gonna have to go look for it into this hyperventilation. I'm not familiar with this. No, to me, it's the idea of like I always say, they're like my sleep. I don't mess around with sleeping. I'm not in my 20s. Back in my 20s, I used to go to the club and hang out with the guys, and all. That era is gone. And I'll stay up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, you can't do that as you grow older. So sleep is one of the keys. Second thing is nutrition. You know, I'm lucky in a sense I have access to a certified dietitian, my wife. So she's keeping an eye on what I eat, and I am very grateful for that. So, and exercise, basic stuff. I do go gym every day. But again, it's the food. Is the food. Because of the society where I live. If you were in Europe, it's different story. But here, I have to be very careful as to what I consume. That's why I cook my own food. I hardly ever eat outside. And I start not to like eating outside because I don't know what I'm eating. So those are and that gives me enough energy to do. When I do live stream, guys, if you only know the time that takes me to prepare all this and the energy, the intellectual energy that goes into it, because I have to organize the information. This conversation here is free conversation. We can talk about whatever. When I do live streams, those are structured. So when I do interviews, they are structured, and you have to focus on all this, and that requires, being a good because a good body or a good mind is in a good body. That's the way I see it. So I'm gonna look into this and see what because I'm not familiar with it. So. Question from Army with Harmony: Can you see collective punishment for Americans who do not or cannot get out? No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, but well, the punish sort of by whom? Are you referring to the government punishing them, or because that becomes a personal decision whether they want to get out or not? And again, it's because if they don't know what's going on, they're not going to understand what's need to be done, which will be too late. And this is something I'm going to talk about on the other platform when I talk about immigration, because I'm finding out some stuff disturbing. That could impact my retirement, which is to me problematic if it is the case. So let me see. Bugsy Brooks, what do you think the outcome would be if aliens reveal themselves to us? They won't. They won't reveal themselves because we are not ready. We are not ready. We are not even at a level. Remember, one time I talked about the level of the type of civilizations that exist. We're not even type 1 civilization. We're still 0.72 based on Kardashev. And you all remember, I did talk about this before. Here's the picture of Kardashev. He's the one who did. This is Nikolai Kardashev. So we're not even a type 1 civilization. And when you think about the 3 types of civilizations that exist around, So for aliens or otherworldly being, whatever term you want to use, for them to show up, no, they're not gonna. Uh, we try, and I had a chance one day. I'll admit it. I had a chance to hear a sound one day from some far distant. It was sound that I like nothing I've heard before in my life. I don't even know how to describe it. And to me, that's the idea. We're not ready yet. We're not ready because we didn't break through our conscious level to uh, to reach that point. I just don't see. Uh, Doctor O, do you eat fruit? Yes, I do. Fruits are good for you. They has sucrose, fructose, and glucose, but those are natural. That's why. But I don't drink, for example, orange juice. I won't. I won't touch apple juice. I won't touch all that. All that stuff, guys. Massive you call it fructose that is lab made. Another word, not the natural one. There's a lot of added sugar into this orange juice and all that stuff. I don't touch those stuff, but I do eat fruit. I eat orange every night. Every night I have orange. I do all the oranges depending on the season. You know, blueberries and all that stuff. So the answer is yes, I do. Uh, all right, let me see another question. Mm, uh, you long mang tong fu. Your arms exceptional. Yeah, I'm 34. Remember, I'm 6'3". My son is 6'4", 6'5". I look like hey. So I asked him one day to show up here. He said no. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like the spot. Oh, Boone. Thank you, okay, man. You don't have to, but I truly appreciate you. I did some Chinese martial art long ago. Yeah, I like the movement. And here's the thing, guys. I tell you, I've been doing that horse stand for a while. My leg are strong, my joint and my hip. But I'm also doing chiropractor on a regular basis. I'll go and do adjustments. And I have an inverted table right outside the office here where I get and flip about 360 degrees. Yeah, my head will be on the ground, my feet up. Why? For blood circulation, and I stay like that for about 5 to 7 minutes, just like because it's good blood circulation. So it's all within. Pardon me. It's all within our reach if we just know and allocate time for that one, and that means the priority comes first. You start to prioritize what's important for you, and that's so thank you very much, Boone. Truly appreciate you, man. uh okay, let me see. AG, the silver bullet. Dr. O, I think I got a new spin-off channel idea for you. Geopolitical Shaolin with Dr. O Saturdays. That would be a good idea to have. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, I am in talk with someone close to me. That's my tribe. Usually, I don't do this with outsiders. About a new channel, and the new channel is gonna deals with phenomenons, and those will be just recorded. There will be no live, but I will bring, like, for example, a story about some depth in the ocean, a story about. Ibuprofen, why ibuprofen is good or bad for you, some basic stuff. And I am thinking about it because here's the thing with the channel, what I learned so far. It's time consuming. And I don't want to do something that I am not going to give it 100%. If I can't give it 100%, I won't do it. The health channel is on hold right now for a reason. So, but I see your idea, which means I have to educate myself more about Shaolin and all that stuff. And this is why I am hoping if my I don't know what the future holds. I do want to spend some times in some location in one of the temples in China or some areas. I do want to do that because the experience of it. So thank you for the suggestion. I'll keep that in mind. By the way, uh, I saw Jan Hakor about Malaysia, and I'm thinking in terms of I'll be talking to Carl with Indonesia as well. I'm gonna do that. Atin Wu, happy Easter to you too. Thank you so much. If you celebrated, I am not big on holidays because everything became commercialized, and I don't like that. Even Christmas for itself, but I do, kind of get on with the day with it. But thank you so much. I appreciate you for that. So, all right, that's you good. Uh, IT. YT, you wrote that's your good fortune, Dr. O. That is correct. It's sometimes nothing just in a monetary aspect. This is why our society is done for, because everything we look at it in terms of monetary. I judge your success because of monetary. I say you are a successful person because you are driving the expensive car, you live in the expensive neighborhood, and all that stuff is nothing but a facade to me. That's nothing but a facade. So you're absolutely correct. I look at where my fortune is, and my fortune is in my health, especially my mental one. So, but also to prevent any problems with your mental capacity as far as Alzheimer's and all. Do you guys know how Alzheimer's is developed? But nothing major other than the pesticide. You know that Roundup people use to kill weeds and all that stuff. It's linked to Alzheimer's. So that's why I stay away from all that stuff. TNT, Dr. O, I don't know how old you are, but you look extremely healthy, and whatever you're doing is working. I'll share my age with you. I know, guys. I don't shy. Let me have you guess. What is my age? Do you think? Yeah, let me see if anybody can get it right. Army with Harmony. Thank you for your time. You wrote, thank you for your time and service, Dr. Ali. You are positive. You are most welcome. Energy. One thing about energy, by the way, positive energy attracts positive energy. And this is why sometimes you can feel cringe when you look at somebody, you're dealing with someone that because you feel something not off because it's that negative energy. That person, and I'm not judging the person. I'm just saying that whatever's going on, something is stuck with that individual, and you need to make a decision. Do you want to absorb that energy into you, or you want to say, "Sorry, I gotta move on," or whatever you need to do? Farhaz Razavi, is a civil war in the U.S. inevitable? The answer is yes, sadly, but it's a part of it. That's how it's going to be. This is why I told you guys last time, there are already people start to plan moving. I'm one of those. I am thinking. And by the way, this leads me to a question that was earlier by someone who asked me if I ever considered teaching at Peking University. Uh, Actually, I won't mind, believe it or not. But I have to coordinate all this because I don't have enough contacts inside China. I have to have somebody in a university to have a conversation with to understand the system and all that. Because what I can teach there, I can teach both the graduate and undergraduate level. I used to teach the master's degree for international relations, so I'll be happy to do it in China. I'll be happy to teach, and it is one of the things I'm going to be looking into. And if it works out, I already asked the wife for that, and she's okay with it. So. The only thing is I don't speak Chinese, so I have to put in time and energy to learn Chinese, uh, and that's one of the things I will be considering of keeping in mind. And the universities in China are now considered among the top in the world. Yeah, and Chinese students don't need to come over anymore. As a matter of fact, I've noticed some Western faculties now are moving to China to teach. Some of them in Singapore. I don't know much about Japan. but they do. So yeah, so I just saw, I forgot I'm trying to locate that individual who put the question. I put a star on it, but I don't see it here. Ask the question: have you ever considered teaching at Peking University? And of course, it has to be in a field that is my academic background. I can't teach business or whatever, and I won't want to anyway. Uh, Global affairs, international affairs, or international relations, and all the other stuff, governments and all that, I can teach that. I don't know. What do you guys think of Singapore? Is it a good place to teach in Singapore or Indonesia for that matter? All right, let me see here quickly. Wow, where time goes. You guys, we've been on the air here for almost an hour and 45 minutes. Easy conversation, just. All right, let me see. Ramp, Dr. O, next time let's talk about Antarctica. I'm open to that. But again, I have to put it for vote because the way I see it, majority rules. If the majority of the community wanted to have that, I will be happy to do it. So I go by what the community wants more so than just me talking because I can talk about whatever. But I'd rather have you guys input because you are part of this. David, Davo 9B, question: would you do an interview with Ben Davidson from Suspicious Observer? Yeah, of course. Why not? I just have to check him out and look at his background and so forth. And yeah. Oh, Boone, you want? How do I talk? How do I get in geopolitics? It was when I was a kid. Some members of my family were into diplomatic corps. Like, for example, and I'll share it with you because it's not in. My dad's cousin used to be ambassador to China back in the 60s. I had an uncle who used to be an advisor. So I grew up in that environment, and the since I was a kid, I always paid attention to what's going on around the world, and I always wanted to become an ambassador. That was always my dream, my wish, but it didn't happen because here in Washington is different. Because the positions here in Washington is not based on qualifications; it's based on donations, and I am not a millionaire to donate money to. This is why you see most ambassadors to the U.S. and not this because they donate money and so forth. So that's how it started. Then when I start to see where the world is headed and all that, I start to pay close attention to it by saying to myself, this is an area I'd like to provide my knowledge and share it with others in the hope of raising awareness. The drive for me when it comes down to geopolitics is about raising awareness. That's how I get into it. And of course, when I start writing books about global affairs and geopolitics and all that, it just became part of my academic background and became my lifestyle. That's how I got into it. Ron and Julie Holiday, good to see you. Thank you again for becoming a channel member. I appreciate you. Question, doctor: do you take supplements? Yes, I do, but it's not a supplement from over the counter. My wife get that stuff because she's a certified dietitian, and the supplements she gets, it's not on the market. Get them privately, and those are, as a matter of fact, there's something that comes from Australia, I believe. Those are based on veggies, based on a natural stuff. There is no chemicals on it. So I take that, yeah, and she put about almost 9 to 10 type of pills for me, each one for each, whatever. Maybe one day I'll I don't have them in front of me here, but next time I'll share them with you. So the answer is yes. And good to see you both. Uh, all right. Now back to my age. Boone, you say 65. Oh man, I'm not that old yet. Matt 54, David King 65, Farhad 53, TNT 66, Jan Hakor 58, TT 63, Rampol Nance 01 57. Well, the right answer is right here. I'm 57. So I'm not 60 yet. So I'm 57. But again, it's only numbers. I don't get into that arguments of here in the US, the society is youth driven. Yeah. Uh, so oh. I like this one. Yeah, yeah. I was 36 few decades ago. 36, yeah. That's what I was back then. 50, Army with the Harmony 53. Yeah, 57. David King 21. When I was 21, I went over to Sweden. I remember I was clubbing on a boat in Sweden, crossing to Finland. That's what I used to do in my 20s. I just move around. AG 75, 75. Not yet. Not yet. I'll get there. Francis Tango, you got it. So you guys got it right. So uh TNT, they will love you in China, Dr. O. Yeah, I am seriously, I am gonna be looking into the teaching opportunities in China. And again, it's just the process. I have to know how it works, and I have to have some contacts there. I have one of my contacts who is from originally China, so he lives here and all that. I'm gonna meet with him and have a conversation and just sort of figure it out. And I already get the green light from the wife, so it'll be fine. And she's open to it. So we kind of, it will be nice. To me, I look at it, if this works out, if I am to teach in China, I look at it like my next journey, which will force me to learn the Chinese language, which what I always hoped for is to be fluent in Mandarin or Cantonese, either or. So, and that's the mistake I made back in the 90s when I received a phone call from the Pentagon, and I wanted to learn Chinese, but I ended up doing differently. I don't blame anybody. It was my mistake. So, Hong Luang, Dr. O, you look young for your age, but thank you. Thank you. Hi guys, I'm gonna sign. Oh, let me see something here. TNT, you wrote Singapore. Singapore is great too. I just heard about it. I've never been there, so I don't know. I'm assuming their university systems similar to those of China as far as quality. I don't know. I am now a little familiar with China because I've been doing some reading on some universities and seeing the ranking of the Chinese institutions. So Indonesia, I do not know yet. I'm gonna be asking Carl for that, for Carl Za for that one. So uh, those are the only two. I'm gonna see how it works. Francis Tango, you wrote, Dr. O, I can send an open letter to Chinese university. Yeah, I can do that, and I'm gonna look. I'm gonna have to do my own due diligence research into, and I know how academia works and so forth. It has to be a good fit. The reason I left Texas A&M because it wasn't a good fit for me. I wasn't going to wait for them. And second, when I found out that they wants me to teach just by standing there and reading the slides to students, I said, no, I don't do that, because they didn't like the fact that I start to push the students intellectually by starting to think outside the box. So my name started to circulate on the campus, even though I was brand new. I just started. Within a month and a half, everybody was talking about, if you want to take government courses or political science, go take this guy. His name is Dr. O. And the university didn't like that. I know there are old timers who were there. They didn't like the facts also. And to me, I don't deal with that kind of nonsense. And when the president of the university asked me to, the student, I said, hold on a second, Mr. President. Are you telling me to shortchange the welfare for my students? I'm not going to do that, no matter what the cost is, even if I have to resign or leave. And I will certainly do that if that is the case. And he thought I was bluffing, and I wasn't. Because I remember some students were crying. Those are big football players and all that. We're crying once I told them I'm leaving. Because, guys, I can't shortchange you. And to me, I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't waver from that. Because what's right is right. Simple as that. And so, yeah, I'll check out the university and see if it's a good fit. I know where to look. Oh, Kevin James, you're the one who asked the question. Kevin James, he's the one who asked the question earlier about considering teaching for picking university. So, yeah, it has to be a good fit, the right university for me as well. Because remember, I'm going to move out of here, which I'm okay with because I see where things are going in America. The US within the next 10 years won't be what it is. So, and if there is institutions in China that will be happy to have me there, I have a lot to offer, and I'll be happy to do it. So, if you guys know someone in China, I'll be happy to have. You can introduce me to him, or vice versa, or her, or whatever, and I'll be happy to have a conversation with that. So, and thank you, Kevin, for your question. Truly appreciate you. All right, guys, I am going to sign off. Oh, John Smith from New Zealand. Good to see you as always. By the way, guys, just FYI, I will be preparing a live stream for you about the upcoming trip of Janet Yellen because there are some economic information you need to know and why she's going over there. To me, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that she's going to beg for money again. But shame. But again, I'm gonna just provide the argument for you guys and share that knowledge with you. And this is how I look at it, uh, because that's the importance to me of what this is all about. I know some think of live stream as a classroom. Yeah, why not? Because teaching to me, that's what we exchange ideas, we learn from each other. And this is why those who complain about me taking time, I say to them, please just fast forward to whatever you want to listen. Simple as that. It's not that hard. So don't make something out of nothing, because that's to me what. And sometimes I am nice about it, and sometimes I push back very hard. Yeah, I push back very hard through my words, and usually I don't like it. But again, it's frustrating. There is a reason why it takes me time, an hour to do. I can't talk about all that stuff in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not enough. That means I'm not giving a full picture. And even with 1 hour that I do, it's not the big picture at all. So, and I don't understand why they don't like that one. I'm sort of, and I'm not going to waver from that because we did a vote and you guys voted for it. You wanted geography, you wanted history, you wanted the headlines, and I go by what the community wants. I don't waver from that stuff because majority rules. To me, that's what democracy is all about. We put it to vote, and that's like what we're gonna do next month, the end of next month, when we do the community talk. I'm gonna put the Antarctica. I'll put some other topics. I'm open to your suggestions, and we'll do voting for it. Majority rules. That's that's how I see it. That's how I see it. India Hindu Delta virus kills. Good to see you, Dr. O. You will be shocked by how modern China is in tier one cities: Shanghai, Xinjiang, Beijing. I've already heard, and I have a conversation with some people that I know, very familiar with this, and this is one of the reasons why I decided to do this Asia trip. It is fact finding, and I am only going to report the facts. Now, I know here in the West, they might not like it, thinking, I'm already seeing comments saying that I'm being paid by China to do the Asia trip. Well, I wish, because that requires a lot of money. Based on the calculations that I did, I'm looking at about $8,000 so far. But it won't matter. I'm going to figure it out. And thanks to you guys for your support. You already, to those who've donated for the trip, and the support for the channel. But the whole purpose of it is to fact finding, is to bring the truth to the fore. I need to expose that truth here in the West for us to see why China is where it is today and why we have failed. And for me to do this, I'm going to be on the ground like I did with some other trips that I did in before, but I didn't disclose much. And from now on, this is what I'm going to be doing. I'll be picking certain parts of the world and go even for 3 weeks, 4 weeks max. I know someone asked me to stay 3 months. I can't stay 3 months because I have my life here and I can't just, leave for 3 months like that. It's different. If I were single, it's different. I just can't. But this is what I'm going to do. And thank you for sharing that one. Caramel Crash, good to see you, by the way. You're right, Dr. O is a real educator. Teaching is no longer like that. Let me share something with you while I have you here. Do you guys see this one here? This is an award-winning educator of the year. And I won this for the first year that I started at the college, the previous college that I used to do. First year. Usually you don't get this till after about 5 years. I got this the first year, the educator of the year. It's called NISAD, excellent award for award-winning educator. That's so thank you for that. And yes, because teaching is no longer the same. And this is why I'm open to opportunities outside the US now, because where our education system is going is sad. It's sad. So thank you so much for that. Okay, let me see. One more question. Okay, do all things with love. Question, where does the best olive oil come from? Well, it has to be, Italy, of course, to a degree, but even with Italy, there were some investigations that they were not authentic. You just have to, hold on a second, I'm gonna go get one. I'm gonna show it to you. Okay. Now, I am not advocating for these companies, whatever. I don't do that stuff because the commercials that I do, those are for gold and whatever else. And I do get paid for those, by the way, guys. And I appreciate you letting them run when you see them. This type here, it has to make sure that it says extra virgin olive oil. The reason why the extra one is the good quality. Now I do this one here. This is where I drink by itself. I put a big tablespoon on an empty stomach. It's good for your skin also. This one here, which is also extra virgin, this is the one I put on a piece of bread. Just put this one on it, and I put real butter. And when I do my scramble and all that stuff. So extra virgin, it's pricey. This one here is about $25. But again, your health is worth more. That's the best way for that. Okay, when natural net come from, I don't know this one. Muslim revert when natural net come alive. I don't know that one. No. Now, one thing I want you to know that in Palestine, they're known for olives. Yeah, they are known for that in Palestine. So, AG, the silver bullet. Thank you greatly for all you do. I really must get my my ass in gear and send you that email soon. Shorty. Yeah, whenever you get. So I appreciate you being here, man. So, and if you guys can make it for the 9 p.m. today with Causa, that would be great. If not, it's not a problem at all. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off here. I'm gonna go do some work on the garden and go work on the Mustang also till I eat my dinner at my last meal that I had was yesterday at 7:45. So 1 meal a day for a month. So, all right, guys. It truly was a pleasure hanging out with you here on this live stream. I truly, truly enjoy it. It's just us having conversation and so forth. And I look forward to seeing you next time. As always, remember, geopolitics, back to daily life in more ways than one. Till next time, guys. Bye bye.